But the one Howard says he'll never answer is, how many Germans did you kill? In the church that was at the center of fighting in St. Mary-Église, a choir was, almost exactly 6 decades later, singing for peace. D-Day anniversaries bear an obligation to remember. But few, especially not the old soldiers, want to revive memories they've worked hard to reconcile. Jim Bitterman, CNN, St. Mary-Église, France.
Well, for more now on the commemorations in Normandy, we turn to Christian Amanpour, who is in Creville-sur-Mer. Christian?
Toomey, as we've said, this is the big American war cemetery. There are more than 9,000 American soldiers buried here, people who perished on D-Day and indeed the whole Battle of Normandy. The story of that liberation was this unbelievable day 60 years ago, but also all the liberations of the towns and villages along this coast and further in to the heartland of Normandy, and then obviously on towards the rest of Europe. It's town by town, village by village, and today we were at the little seaside town not far from this beach called Saint-Laurent-sur-Mer. That town was liberated 24 hours after D-Day. It was stormed by soldiers of the 1st and 29th American Infantry Divisions. There is a memorial there that was erected many years ago, and on which it says, "No mission is too difficult for the 1st U.S. Infantry Division, no sacrifice too great, duty first." Well, today we're joined by French sculptor Anilore Banon, who has created her own memorial and her own sculpture to those brave men. In fact, it is called Les Braves.
Absolutely.
It's this incredible, is it aluminium or steel?
It's steel, it's stainless steel.
And it's this unbelievable sculpture that is so huge, and it stands there in the low tide and the high tides. Tell us what it represents. We're showing pictures of it.
It represents, I really wanted to do an homage, a tribute to courage. And it was very important for me that it was in the same condition, in the water, on the Normandy beach, with the tides rolling into the sculpture, because my image was also of this man coming up from the water and the pylons before that. So it's in 3 pieces. You can see on the sides, they are the wings of fraternity and the wings of hope, representing the forces allied together that can win against barbarism. And in the center, the centerpiece is called Freedom Rise, and the verticality is very important for me. It's the idea of standing up, you know, coming up from the sand and rising so that you can stand with honor and liberty, and thanks to what happened 60 years ago.
We were at a ceremony yesterday honoring American and British and French and other European veterans, and the speaker said that 60 years on, Normandy does not forget its liberators.
Oh, absolutely. That's for sure. Even during these 2 years of work, I met a lot of veterans. I met a lot of people in Normandy working on this project with me, and everybody was so grateful and was so happy that to show how much we are grateful. So that certainly we do remember.
And you know, I can't help but ask, even though it's a discordant note, this is in sharp contrast to the way most of Europe and most especially France feels about the current American war in Iraq. What did that go through your mind at all as you were building this sculpture, or as you see, you know, the reaction of the French to the Americans over D-Day?
I was very happy to see that truly all the people that I met during all these years were all very, very positive, and that nothing of a discord and noise came in. But I think it might be that there is a time for events and the time of history, and the history is the one we have together, and this one shall remain.
It was very diplomatically said.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it was right. That's what everybody's been telling us, that what happens today we don't agree with. We don't agree with this war, but what happened 60 years ago we will never forget, and that will be the symbol of our friendship and unity.
And there's nothing, and when around us we have all these white crosses, and that's really, we cannot forget nothing that would happen 6 years ago, and I'm sure that our 2 countries are really close.
How did you get, will this memorial be permanent on that beach?
It will stay on the beach for the next 6 or 7 months. And after that, a lot of people, there is a petition around rolling so that it stays there. But in any case, it will stay in Saint Laurent. And, but I think that it's important that it is on the beach. That's also a very important part of the work.
Anilore Banon, thank you very much for joining us. And thank you for that incredible sculpture, which is really very evocative when you're standing right next to it and seeing it in the surf there. And remembering what happened 60 years ago as tens of thousands of soldiers and airmen and naval people stormed these beaches and started the liberation of Europe. And that is what we're going to be reporting on, that commemoration 60 years on, and we'll be doing that all today and all tomorrow as the celebrations and commemorations take place. Tumi?
All right, Christian, thank you very much. So be sure to be tuned in to CNN on Sunday as we cover all of those commemoration ceremonies. A White House spokesman aboard Air Force One in Paris says former United States President Ronald Reagan's health is deteriorating. The 93-year-old former president announced nearly a decade ago that he was suffering from Alzheimer's disease, and since that time he's made very few public appearances. According to sources familiar with the situation, the White House has been told that Reagan's death could be, quote, weeks or months away, unquote. Alzheimer's is a progressive, irreversible neurological disorder. World News continues right after this break. Don't go away.